Hi, this is my name is Diego Mangabeira, and this is a new episode from Boring Sales. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something that might is creating or might have created some things in the past for your team or even for yourself, for email cadence or everything that you're doing in terms of GTM, okay, go to market. I'm going to talk about cold email in 2026, but I'll say this podcast, this video might be used forever, because every time that we talk about cold email, we're talking about the way that we write, the way that we use storytelling, or even how we interact with other human beings, and most of the time to check if everything is still working, or how can I access what's not working, especially during my cadences and everything that I'm doing. Okay. We're going to talk about if the myth is that, right? Most of the time you see a repeated videos about email marketing is dead, or even cold email is dead, or something like that. Most of the time is like a clickbait, but most of the time it might help us to understand our own cadence, the way that we interact via mail. Okay. And I'll say that's not bad, not at all, but most of the people are doing what with it? Completely broken emails, or even they are not thinking directly in the quality of the message, or even they are not thinking on the other side. How is my lead, or even the other person, my prospect, my potential client, is receiving that message? So I'll tell you how to move the needle, and also what you need to stop doing immediately. Okay. And to record today, I was checking some of my clients' examples just to share. I'm not going to share also his or her name, but basically the facts that we created. But I was auditing a client. Basically, it was an outbound strategy for the last quarter, so October to December. It was a SaaS company, and they had a smart team, a small team, and a decent product. They were selling correctly. I'll say that they were getting back on track, because they were having some problems with their ICP, and especially I wouldn't say the ICP, but the way that they were selling their product in the market was incorrect. They were sending 3,000 emails a month using AI tool that personalized at scale. And I quoted that personalized at scale because since I worked with tech since 2008 most of the time, and we're evaluating that on a daily basis, I'll say there are happening, there are a lot of examples of devs, or even people who work with AI, Anthropic, Claude, ChatGPT, OpenAI, Google Gemini, or even Perplexity. Anyways, there are a lot of problems with this personalization. That's why it's quoted personalized at scale. In terms of reply rate, they were having 0.4%. That was a decent measurement, but I'll say it could be improved. But in terms of replies, almost zero. I'll say really small, little conversion rate in terms of replies. And even the responses they were receiving was really bad responses, or even not interested, as you can imagine. When I read the emails, the problems was obvious, so I'll share with you what was that problem related to the cold email strategy that you were having. Every single one started high, and I just quoted here first name. Basically, you might you were using something like that, okay, or might have used that. Hi, first name. I noticed you recently, and then points, right? The personalization was mail merge. So basically, that was the personalized message that they were created. So the AI made it worse. Polished garbage on this case. So hi first name, or I noticed recently, most of the time this doesn't create value or even differentiation in terms of the quality of the message, because imagine that our prospect, our lead, received a lot of emails on a daily basis, LinkedIn, outreach, social selling, and so on, or even cold calling, people doing their own stuff. This is the cold email trap of 2026. using AI at scale with the wrong thing faster, just to send or create like a bubbled measurement. So I sent 100, 1,000, 3,000 on this case emails, but in terms of conversion, you didn't have. So it would be better to have a measurement like this: 100 emails, 5% response rate. That's better in terms of statistics, or even mathematically calculating, right? It would be easier, or better, faster for them to convert. So each point is a pattern that you have actually seen. The first, I divided by 5, but the first, the fake personal opener. I noticed your LinkedIn post when you clearly didn't. You're not doing your job. Stop creating this mask between, or even this distance between the prospect. Most of the time, you're not creating value. You're just sending message, or even a general message to each prospect that you were talking to. Second point, the 7-paragraph first email. Your prospect, most of the time, they read on mobile, smartphones, iPhones. They are not doing that, stopping their time just, oh, I would like to read your email right now, right? They're doing that between meetings, or even in the car, not driving on this case, but basically someone is driving, or even the subway, or even on the streets, in 4 seconds most of the time. So you need to your catch needs to be really great. The third, the features dump. We have X, Y, Z integrations, SOCs too, or in a free trial. Nobody asked for your features. Stop doing that. Fourth, the desperate follow-up, just bumping things up. I didn't write it here, but I would like to circle back. What's circle back here? You didn't create any value. Why would the prospect want to talk to you? Okay. The fifth point, AI generated personalization at scale with no actual research. The robots can smell each other because they today everybody is really critic about AI, and AI is hallucinating a lot all the day. I don't know about you if you're using AI a lot, but I use AI on a daily basis for a long time since it was created. I was at IBM that time. There was no AI per se. They were using other terminologies or acronyms. But anyways, what I'm trying to do, people are getting critic. They argue, oh, this is an AI generated email. So stop doing this generated generic emails that you're sending. Okay. What still works? Also, so how to turn back your strategy, how to counter what I'm just doing this, okay, what I'm doing in terms of strategy. The first, the specific trigger email, not fake specific, but actually specific. Funding round, new hire, a talk they gave, a post that shows real interest. Do your research, okay? Go to LinkedIn, social selling, try to check that prospect in Google or even any other websites. You need to do your research. Instead of doing generic stuff or general stuff, doing differently compared to your competitors. Second, the one sentence pitch. Can you describe what you do or why it matters to them in one sentence? If not, your email will fail. So if you understand what they're selling, what their struggles, what they're facing in terms of value, because everybody's facing a struggle, a challenge internally in their company. So if you know how to express that like a child of 90 years old, you've got it. You're going to sell it. The third, the honest short email, 4 lines max, opening, relevance, one outcome, soft CTA. You don't need to beg for it. Go for it, okay? The fourth, the pattern interrupt. So subject line that feel like internal emails, like no quick questions about your sales stack. Instead, reply, RE, okay? Pipeline velocity at company name, something like that. So you can try to mix them, test, A/B testing, doing a lot of tests that might work well. The fifth point, the permission-based follow-up. So if it isn't relevant, no problem at all. just let me know and I'll stop reaching out. Something like that. Disarms, get replies, earns respect. Nobody has the time that you want. They are doing a lot of stuff. And if someone didn't reply, that doesn't mean that he or she is not interested in your product. Okay. Stop being demanding of people, okay, or even in terms of vibration or in terms of frequency. Sometimes people do not have time, okay, and that's okay. But instead of insist, try to create new opening messages that might be work better, instead of just trying to do your own stuff the way that you did in the past and it worked. Okay, the boring truth of this is the emails that work in 2026 look almost exactly like the ones that work in 2016, so that they were shorter and more precise. And in terms of framework, I would say the trigger is the line first, the first line. So why are you reaching out specifically? Not I found you on LinkedIn. That does not work. Something real, something they create value. You create value for them. Line 2, the bridge. Connect the word to their solution. One sentence, or what changes for them in terms of what you provide, what changes for them to hear what you have to say. Line 3, the proof. One data point or client outcome. Don't oversell, just make it credible. They want credibility. Everybody wants to understand that you could do or deliver what you're promising. Line 4, the ask. Low friction, not book a 45-minute demo. That does not work anymore. Try worth a 15-minute call, or does this resonate, or even what does this sound good to you? Something like that. Okay, 4 lines. That's it. If you can fit your pitch in 4 lines, your message it isn't clear enough, and that's the problem with a lot of GTMs teams or even account executives, SDRs, BDRs that I work with that are having this problem. So cold email isn't that. It's just to separate the lazy from the precise. The boring work is the research. So the reward is the reply if we're talking about cold emails. The prize for the cold email is the response. So if you collect those insights and put that in practice or even in place, I'll say that you are going to have better results on your work. I'm Diego Mangabeira, and this is Boring Sales. Keep in touch, keep it boring. See you in the next episode. Have a good day. Bye.